Oh, there he is. It is Matt Mosley Show on the Rogue Media Network. And Scotty Swingler alongside, as always. And Scotty, always enjoy our sort of a breaking news. Didn't we come up with like a breaking news sounder or something? There's NFL breaking news that we want to. I like it. I like the abrupt ending to it as well. And I think it's better than, I think at one point Scotty was just doing his own sounds. He is good at impressions, but it was good to get something official like that. What'd you do that one,
da. Beep, 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 beep.
Yeah, and I like both of those. I do. But the NFL, as we start today, this is just out on ESPN.com and other outlets. If you thought you saw Tom Brady in the coach's booth with the Raiders last night, boy, it didn't help much, did it? You were correct. He's just sitting up there with let's just keep playing it. He was up there with a headset during the Monday Night Football game. I mean, he is the lead analyst for Fox. And the NFL said Tuesday in a statement that Brady, a minority owner with the Raiders and a broadcaster for Fox, is, quote, okay, we're good. We're good. I think we're fine. Is, quote, prohibited from going to a team facility for practices or production meetings. That's news to us. I mean, they had relaxed the rules to allow him to go to production meetings recently. Did they forget that they had done that? Now, again, this seems to, and I want to get Scotty's take on this because he's been, in the work world, he's been in the media, he's done a lot of different things. And so I think the typical fan does not have this huge, like, oh my gosh, this is awful. He's the broadcaster, but he's also allowed to be in the coach's box with the Raiders. Scotty, here's the deal. I think it's all like a bad look. Like, I think but I think most fans don't really care. But it's weird to see him in the coach's booth, like up there with all of them. They're trying to call the plays, and he's a minority owner with the Raiders. Mark Davis, Al Davis's son, who's a weird cat. I've been around him a little bit. He brought Tom in, but I mean, again, think how people would be so mad at the Cowboys and everybody if somehow right now Tony Romo became the minority owner of the Dallas Cowboys, which, hey, try something new, bring somebody else in, another voice with Jerry, maybe it would help. But if Tony, when he wasn't calling games for CBS, was like in the Cowboys coaching box with Eberflus and the rest of the gang, whoever is hanging up there in the Cowboys box, people would lose their minds over it. And probably, I guess it's because the Raiders have been so bad. And honestly, most of the NFL fans don't really care about the Raiders. Maybe this isn't becoming that big of a deal, but that was weird. I mean, Scotty, if you stayed up last night, which you had to be up late, the game didn't start till 10:15 Eastern time, 9:15 Central time. It'll be like the Big 12 and use only Eastern time for no apparent reason now. But 9:15, and that game was still going on at midnight, and there's Tom Brady on a Monday night after calling a game on a Sunday, and he's in the coach's box. I mean, again, I don't know if it's the biggest deal in the world, but Scotty, this is a weird look. It's a very weird look. It's not something we've ever seen before. We've never had, I mean, think about all the analysts we've seen over the time. Romo, Phil Simms, John Madden, who was a coach, by the way, and somebody could have brought him in as a minority owner. All the greats. Overall, Chris Collinsworth, throw them all out. The thought of seeing them in a booth during a game is just kind of like it doesn't happen, and it's a bad look for the NFL. And yet, because it's Brady, the NFL is going to back down and go do what he. It's nothing. There's no violation. It's totally fine for him to do this. Did you, Scotty? Did you find yourself watching the Monday Night Football last night and thinking that was a little odd to see one Tom Brady up there in the coach's booth?
I did. And yet, I'm going to tell you something, Matt Mosley. If the NFL is going to be hands off, the Raiders should absolutely have him in the coaching booth. He should absolutely be in there. He should absolutely have input on that offense and what Chip Kelly's doing. I mean, this is where the NFL has to make a decision now. And if the NFL is going to play hands off, why wouldn't you? In fact, just a second ago, you picked the wrong example, because I don't know that we've known each other long enough for you to know how much I love, adore, and wish Tony Romo was still my quarterback. I'm kind of mad Tony Romo's not doing this for the Dallas Cowboys. I almost wish he was. I almost wish he was. And I'm sure you could go back and find some tweets from 3 or 4 years ago where I was saying he should just quit broadcasting and be ROC. So
you were that guy saying that. I didn't really know you as well back then. Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Right.
Matt, like any one of these NFL quarterbacks who've played at that level and been successful, whether it's Romo, whether it's Brady, Peyton Manning's on ESPN, you put any of it. If Peyton Manning right now walked into the Colts facility, they would be absolutely insane to not let him sit in the film room for an hour or help with the offensive scheme for an hour. They would be crazy to not let him do that.
Okay. That's interesting, because you use Romo. The guy who actually would be interested in being a GM or a director of pro personnel or football operations, kind of like what Lynch does. Lynch is the GM, but he's really the president, the grand poobah of the Niners, right? Like Aikman's the one who would really want to do it. The problem is he would never do it with Jerry, because Jerry has too much say. He would want to do it at a place. Aikman's the one guy out there in broadcasting that has some interest in this. Just for clarification, because I didn't understand when they said he was prohibited from going to practices and meeting with the coaches' facilities. See, they're all bending over backwards, though, to help Tom Brady. It says the NFL recently relaxed some of its restrictions for Brady in that role, including allowing him to take part in production meetings when a broadcast crew meets with the game's head coaches and key players. You're like, how is he allowed to do that? He must take part in those meetings remotely, and he isn't allowed to attend practices at team facilities. So he's in town probably already, Scotty, but he's on Teams or a Zoom call or whatever we use, StreamYard. This is, the silliest thing in the world. This is not allowed. We don't like the appearance of propriety, except we'll allow him to get on Zoom with these meetings. Now, is he learning? Coming up soon, he's doing a game and meeting with people, like I think who the Raiders are playing against or something like that. It's so bad and it's so ham-handed. And you raise a good point. It's like, if you're the Raiders, would you rather have your weirdo Al Davis? And by the way, when I'm up close with Al Davis's son, he'll take the earring out. He has a place where he used to put an earring in one of his ears, and there's a huge hole in one of his lobes, and it's never filled in. He's not wearing the diamond stud anymore, but he has this crazy big hole, and I can always see air through his ear. And I'm just like, this guy is so odd. Nothing against people with earrings. Don't take it that way. But you don't typically see the owner of an NFL team with a big, huge hole in his ear. He's also got the Lord. People the other day my old radio cohort was desperately begging me to get a haircut. Randy Galloway, that is. It's just that he has Mark Davis has the Prince Valiant haircut. Scotty, do you have a picture of Mark Davis we could call up? I mean, it's one of the worst looks in NFL history. I'm trying to think anybody that we would actually like believe or has any kind of credibility that has the Prince Valiant haircut that was not born in the 1500s or 1600s. And the answer is no. Like, I'm just trying to think of anybody we know with a Prince Valiant haircut that we could actually say it's a respectable person. And I think we'd have to say no, that is not the case. So, wow, this is an interesting deal that has taken place, and the NFL. This is further evidence. The nice thing about Brady is that he cares enough about his ownership role with the Raiders to actually put in the time. Now, I don't know how he's doing that and being prepared as he needs to be. I think he's making a mockery out of the broadcast group, because the truth is Romo, Nance, Greg Olson, who he replaced, they put in hours upon hours. So I do not know. I know Brady's got a big brain and all that kind of stuff, but the truth is he was not good enough in his initial year as a broadcaster to also balance the broadcasting. Like, for instance, Romo was great right away at broadcasting. So you could make an argument that he could have time to go over here and be a minority owner and sit in the coach's box. Brady's not yet good enough at this to be doing both. And like, I'll tell you who tried to be a minority owner and was horrific at it is Michael Jordan for years. And I mean, he's my hero. He's my hero as a player, but as an executive, he was horrible. And I promise you, he would never take the time to go somewhere and be on a headset or sit on the bench or actually like that. Once Michael's career was over as a player, he was able to pour himself into Michael, the Nike brand icon, and Michael should be one of the highest paid guys ever, because he was that brilliant, and he was that brilliant of a player and that brilliant of a winner. But as far as like being an executive, he was horrific, okay? Because he didn't care. He didn't have time to do it. He didn't even live in the same city. And to a certain extent, Brady's doing the same thing because he's probably flying in and out of town. I doubt that he's living in Vegas. I could be wrong, but he's got to fly across. He's got to fly to be around his kids, hang with well, he's not with Giselle anymore. I don't know who he's hanging out with. He's got to live wherever he lives. Do we know where he lives, Scotty? Think about that. He's got to get to Raiders games when they're not played on a Sunday. He's got to be at his game. What a weird existence this is, because in some ways, the guy who got it right was Peyton, because Manning easily could have been what Romo is doing and what Brady. And I promise you he would be way better at this than Brady, because Peyton's witty, he's quick, he's smart, like he has all of the Romo stuff with even more credibility than Romo, given what he's won and just given the stage he's been on for all these years. So again, not that Romo doesn't have credibility. He just doesn't have as much credibility as Peyton. But what Peyton found was just this weird, funny platform where he can goof around with his brother. And oh, by the way, he's great at it. I honestly think Brady would be better at that than what he's doing. When you are in the lead analyst role for CBS, NBC, ESPN, whoever, Fox, you've got to do it all, and you've got to be quick about it. And there are only a few people who know how to pull that off, and some of them are way better than others. It's like Moose is fine at it, but there's a reason Moose Johnston, I'm talking about Daryl Moose Johnston from the Cowboys, there's a reason he's never really moved up over the years. He's just good at what he is, like being the third or fourth best guy at Fox. He's fine, but he's not great. but he's not. Man, Brady's not there yet. By the way, Brady needs more time. All right, it is Mosley, the Matt Mosley Show. We're off and running. I love some good breaking news at the start of a show. We had some other stuff planned, and we just said, you know what, the heck with it. We're gonna go with this. I'll tell you what we'll do, Scotty. Why don't at 2:30 today we'll delve into what we were going to open with today. We'll delve into more of this because we got Pete Sousa is going to join us for a few minutes at 2:00. And then after that, I want to delve into some of this Sawyer Robertson, kind of where he is, Dave's answer to me from the other day on Saturday, and what that kind of means. And then a reminder, we got Campus Confidential coming up at about 1:30 and 1:35. Scotty's got a bunch of stuff that we're going to react to and get into as we get you ready for the college football weekend. In fact, Scotty, I'm interested. I've gotten and maybe it was because, I mean, you're holding basically daily calls about this pregame show we do, the Green and Gold Game Day. But I found myself already just pouring into Arizona State, this coach that they have. To me, Scotty, this because he was on Dan Lanning's staff, wasn't he, at Oregon? Is that where what's our man's name? Willingham. Is that where he came from? He was on the Oregon staff, I believe, as Lanning's offensive coordinator, and he comes to Arizona State. I don't know why in the world this wouldn't be the hottest coach in the country. I like the guy at Tulane. There's some other people floating around out there that would be good. Lane Kiffin's name is always going to come up because of what he's done. I think Clark Lee at Vanderbilt is totally worth talking about, although he's a Vandy guy, and so that's going to be tough to land him. Although money talks, if Florida came at him with their full power of like, hey, we're going to pay you, $8 or $9 million a year, you would have to look at it. I don't know why the coach at Arizona State isn't leading the list. I know they had the rough loss to open the season, but what they did last year, I mean, they took a mess. Like Coach Herm Edwards and Ray, what's his name, the GM there, Ray. I mean, they left the biggest mess you could ever imagine. And what's his name? Scotty, it's Willingham, isn't it? Anyway, I was just doubting myself for a second. If Scotty's still around. Yeah, okay, so Dan Lanning, he came off Dan Lanning's staff, and I think he's the best thing going out there. I just think I think from how he manages a staff, how he manages his quarterback, the recruiting, what he's done at the portal, what he's done with that fan base. Like, man, when you can get like homegrown type people who love being at your place, and Vandy has one of them right now. Now Arizona State has one. I mean, it's scary, like how good you can be. And as they get ready for this game with the Bears, we put so much into getting ready for that Auburn game, that this Arizona State game, because it's a conference game and everything that's coming in, and because of the way they need to bounce back after their last, after going out and having the opening game they had, I think this guy, I really do think that, and I know that loss kind of hurt the luster a little bit on them when they lost to Mississippi State. I just think he's one of the greatest options out there. Scotty, are you with me on this? Or, I mean, like, who are you hot on right now, coaching carousel? Scotty may have stepped down or something. I'm going to look and just see if the young man's still. I'm going to make sure we're good. Okay, cool. I got a note from him. He's fine. He's fine. He'll be back to us. He'll be back to us in a moment. But I just didn't know he had left us for a little bit, so I was wondering why I wasn't hearing from him. No, I just think that's I just think it's remarkable what the job, and we'll try to have Darren Woody, on one of the most famous Arizona State athletes to come along. But I thought that I for some reason, this Arizona State coach, I saw him do some interviews like in his early days, and he was not. They were not good his first year. They went 3-9, and I had this moment where, and I don't always get these right, but I had this moment where I thought, and it's Kenny Dillingham. I don't know why I was calling him Willing. I knew that was sounded wrong. Kenny Dillingham to me is just ridiculously good at communicating. Now he's a little crazy, and he will lose it on the sideline. And I think Dillingham is someone that needs a strong AD. He needs strong backing, because I do think he gets carried away and he can be a hothead and all that kind of stuff. But in terms of the job he's done, it rivals. We're so used to, and boy, this will get Scotty excited. We're so used to, like, what Matt Rule, the job he did at Baylor. I mean, I'm not saying it in a lot of ways, that was a huge scandal. Scott Drew brought a program back from scandal. Both of those were amazing jobs. We just think way more highly of Scott because he's, entering year number 23, and he stayed around so much longer. But what Dillingham did in the aftermath of all this mess and all this craziness that Herm Edwards created. I mean, we're talking scandal. We're talking during COVID. They were all up to, and I don't know what they would have been in the NIL world, but I'm just saying, like, that program was an unbelievable embarrassment. And Dillingham now has them, or going into the season, they were ranked 12th. Here's what I think will happen. If they beat Baylor, which I hope doesn't happen, but if they do, they'll be back in the top 15 within 2 or 3 weeks. Okay, that because they have great quarterback. They returned 4 offensive linemen. I've been looking at this team, getting ready for the Green and Gold Game Day show, and man, what they bring to the table is, it really is. It's kind of fascinating. Now, receiver wise, they had to go to the portal. They've got Jordan Tyson. He was hurt, I think, going into that game against Texas last year in the college football playoff. They're a little thin at running back. In fact, they brought in a running back from Army. They got one guy they're going to try to get back this week who's been banged up, but they haven't totally properly replaced Scattaboo. So I would say in that opening game against Mississippi State, so much was put on Levitt. But he started delivering because he brought him back. Made a big mistake late. But when I watched him the other night, because they had a late night game against Texas State. Texas State's not bad. Texas State's not bad at all under their head coach, G.J. Kinney. I absolutely, Levitt is faster than what the Bears went up against. The quarterback that, that they faced, Jackson Arnold against Auburn. This guy is way more agile, way faster than him, and I think certainly a better passer. And so there is a chance. And right now, I'm looking at the Heisman odds, and Mateer's kind of shot up, and you've got certain players that are starting to kind of shoot up the board a little bit. We'll continue to watch Sawyer. By the end of this season, I honestly think this quarterback from Arizona State will have worked his way back up near the top. Now, we do have, and I'll see if our man is back. We've got some Campus Confidential that we're going to come up with. And I got a bunch of Cowboys stuff to hit on as well, and we'll do that. But I did want to say one thing that I'm going to play for you a little bit later. I did want you to meet Jadeveon Clowney. And we're going to play that later in the program. But Jadeveon Clowney officially with the Cowboys, was on the couch. I did find it somewhat humorous that Jadeveon Clowney was asked like what brought him to the Cowboys, because he had other options and he was out there and he could have stayed off. He could have retired. He could have done anything. He didn't have to come back. He didn't have to come back and play. I mean, he's played for like 7 teams in the last 8 years. Former first round pick. He's in his 30s now. He's had a really good career. Not just he hasn't like he's been fine. He's been fine. He's got like 58 career sacks, which is nothing to sneeze at. He's had some really good years. Even last year with Carolina, he had 5.5 sacks. He's just an aging pass rusher who wants more money than most teams are willing to pay. But they asked him, okay, why Dallas? Why did you want to be here? And his first thing he said, he's like, I like their secondary. Well, what? Maybe he didn't watch. Maybe he was traveling to town or something. I mean, the secondary did give up 450 yards to Russell Wilson. It was a disaster. It was an utter disaster. And he said he liked the D-line and he liked Kenny Clark, who they brought over. But I want to hear more from him, and I'll let you guys kind of hear, and we'll react to that a little bit as we'll kind of play get to know Jadeveon Clowney. Now we do have Campus Confidential coming up, and Scotty's got some things on his mind, and we'll be reacting to that, and that'll be good. That'll be good because there's several things going on across college that I want to talk about. And I'm particularly interested in these Heisman because of the slow start for Nussmeier and Lenoris Sellers being banged up or whatever's going on with him. They got shellacked by Vandy, and DJ Lagway throwing 4 interceptions. And some of these people that we were thinking of for the Heisman have flatlined, and they're no longer there. So now we're starting to watch who's rising, who in the SEC, who from the Big Ten. Is there anybody who's going to emerge? Because even the guy from Penn State that we thought, oh, he'll be up there. I'm not his odds, not seeing like huge odds on Aller's front. I mean, this to me is fascinating because this is the most wide open. And, obviously Arch Manning hasn't shown up. So that's a problem, for Texas right now, but that's their problem. Sawyer, there's some openings right now. If Sawyer snaps back and has a huge week against Arizona State, he's going to get right back in the conversation. And the Bears are going to get behind him. And I think that'll all be great. Well, we're appreciative by Central Providence, Central National Bank, our presenting sponsor. So pleased to be associated with them, and that is exciting. And then, of course, Cherry Johnson Sigmund James, the official law firm, Brazos Landing. We're just so Schmaltz. I was on the phone with Schmaltz earlier today, the great sandwich shop. They're coming right back over. And then, I was on I hate to say their name because they're still somewhere else, but there are just people wanting like, hey, we love what you're doing and what you're starting and the excitement around Rogue and what all you guys are doing. And so people are coming over to try to be with us at the same time. One last thing before we go to Campus Confidential. Rangers sadly have bowed out of this thing, and I hate it. There's C&B. There's our presenting sponsor. Appreciate the Brian Fonville and the whole group for what all you guys do. Man, Rangers, it was going to be so much fun to watch them try to chase down the Mariners, watch them try to chase the Astros. Now, they still have a couple of games with the Astros, and I guess if they won these next 2, maybe we could talk. But back-to-back losses after an incredible stretch where they had won 15 of 19 games, they've lost 2 straight. And the Mariners have won like 9 straight. Mariners just are running away. And the Astros beat the Rangers yesterday. So some of the fun that we were having down the stretch has dissipated just a little bit. But let's watch them. They need 2 wins against the Astros to maybe give us a little bit more hope but hope is fading. And as a great man used to say, hope is not a plan. It is time for something we call Campus Confidential. That is next.
When Central National Bank decided to partner with Baylor women's basketball, we didn't know exactly what that partnership would look like.
What brings you into the bank today?
For the last couple of months, I've been noticing a charge on my account, and I would like to block it.
I see. So you have a charge,
Yes?
and you'd like to block it?
Yes.
I think you should take the charge.
What?
Yeah, I definitely think you should take the charge.
I don't think you understand.
Sometimes you just have to take one for the team.
Is there a manager available?
We love that Coach Colin is all about the team. Once we get the vocabulary down, the sky's the limit.
Central National Bank, proud partner of Baylor Athletics and Baylor women's basketball.
I have Mac Rhodes, director of Baylor Athletics, on the phone. Mac, can you tell Peggy why she should take the charge?
Of course she should take the charge. Wait, are you at the bank again? And who is Peggy?
Shades is your trusted partner in stage lighting, offering a wide range of high-quality, innovative products since 2015. With designs that cater to all needs, fast delivery, and affordable prices, we provide exceptional customer service to ensure your satisfaction. With warehouses across the globe and sales in over 100 countries, Sheds is quickly becoming one of the most recognized names in the stage lighting industry. Visit shehds.com today to discover top-tier stage lighting solutions and become part of our global network.
Introducing Muck-Off's classic pink bike cleaner, powered by revolutionary nanotechnology that breaks down dirt and grime on a microscopic level while protecting your bike's delicate finish. Developed by our mad developer Alex and tested by riders, our products are made by riders for riders. Discover more at us.muc-off.com, where we break the mold to bring you the best in bike care.
At Open Goal USA, we're revolutionizing training for both soccer and lacrosse with our innovative portable rebounders. Perfect for players of all ages and skill levels, our rebounders improve accuracy, control, and technique in both sports. Built with premium materials for durability and ease of use, they're ideal for training anywhere, anytime. Whether you're perfecting your soccer game or sharpening your lacrosse skills, Open Goal USA has you covered. Visit OpenGoalUSA.com and elevate your training today.
Chapellex is a full-category shapewear brand dedicated to providing women with exceptional comfort and support. We offer thoughtfully designed solutions that blend style with functionality, empowering women to feel confident and at ease every day. Chapellex is redefining what it means to have a perfect body. Our mission celebrates body positivity, embracing every shape and size, because true beauty lies in authenticity. Visit shapellx.com today and join a movement towards self-love, acceptance, and confidence.
Indulge in Blum's luxurious Lotus Flower Rolls. The green Lotus Roll bursts with a caramel apple flavor, while the blue Lotus Roll offers a smooth berry cream sensation. With our Crush for Flavor technology, enjoy an instant burst of natural, intense flavor anytime you desire. Elevate your experience with the finest creations nature has to offer. Explore the full collection at blumleaf.com. That's BLUUMLEAF.com. Blumleaf. Golf Partner, the world's largest golf store network, offers more purchasing opportunities than anywhere else. With a dominant market share and a wider selection of quality secondhand golf clubs than our competitors, we make it easy for you to enjoy the game with affordable, top-quality equipment. Join us at golfpartnerusa.com and discover why we're the trusted choice for golf lovers worldwide. That's GOLFPARTNERUSA.com. Golf Partner. At Terrapin Ridge Farms, they believe in the joy of effortless entertaining. Inspired by CEO Mary O'Donnell's mom and her legendary holiday parties, they've crafted a line of gourmet foods that turn any meal into a celebration. From savory jams to mustards, aiolis, and more, their products are made with love, bringing unforgettable flavors to your table. Whether it's a casual get-together or a special occasion, they make it easy to impress. Terrapin Ridge Farms, where great food and great memories come together. Visit them at terrapinridge.com. Terrapin Ridge.
Relax with Hemp Delicious, Organically grown hemp, massively blended with delicious organic herbs, responsibly sourced for their holistic benefits. Each sip offers calming, antioxidant-rich wellness. Brewed just for you. Sip the calm with Hemp Delicious. Find your blend at hempdelicious.com.
It is the Matt Mosley Show, and it is Central National Bank, our presenting sponsor. You see Ascension Providence right down there. Appreciate Ascension Providence, everything you do for us. And our old buddy Kevin Stevenson, we're so excited to be associated with Ascension Providence and so many of those incredible doctors. We're going to be having some of them on. In fact, we're going to be featuring some of those doctors, which is really cool. And Scotty will be in touch with Ascension. And I did find something before we get to Campus Confidential. I love this. We were talking about Tom Brady and kind of how weird it is that he's a minority owner. He's the lead broadcaster for Fox. He shows up in the coach's box for the Raiders. I mean, the whole thing seems to be favoritism. And I mean, again, like Scotty said, probably shouldn't blame the Raiders for trying to use him or tap into his brain. But the whole thing stinks on the side of the NFL, and it looks like they ought to step in because it just kind of makes things. I mean, everything with the Patriots used to look like cheating and tomfoolery and subterfuge and all that, and here we are again, still with the most famous member of that team, and with a team like the Raiders that's known for subterfuge and all the weirdness that happened with Al Davis over the years, and they have to be involved in this. Scotty will love this. The Chicago Bears are one of 6 teams whom the Raiders play, and Brady is scheduled to meet with its broadcast capacity. Also, there's the Eagles, Cowboys, Chiefs, Giants, Commanders. So the whole NFC East. So there you go. Tom can hit you up, get some information, and then run back and go help the Raiders. And is it really going to help? Probably not, but the whole thing stinks. The whole thing looks weird. So it's a strange thing, but we appreciate everybody being a part of the Mosley Show today. And it is time for something we call Campus Confidential, where Scotty Swingler shares some things on his mind. Scotty, what do you have for us today?
Let me start on a little bit of a somber note, not so somber anymore, but nostalgic. Matt Mosley, I saw that this was the 6th anniversary today of this epic rant, and I think it is worthy of a replay.
Well, what kind of mythical powers does a Sun Devil have? We got to consider that. I'm going to say the Wildcat's out. The Trojan, does he have a horse or is he on foot? Does he have a bow and arrow or just his sword? The Bruin, definitely formidable. Another bear up there at Cal. The tree, I imagine that tree's going to get chopped down. Unless we're going to go with the bird and somebody might get pecked or something. I don't know. The duck might lose interest and just fly away and get out of there, which may be good advice under the circumstances. The husky, no chance. The beaver, we'll see how long that beaver can hold his breath. The ute, again, we're back to, is he on horseback? Does he have a bow and arrow? Did he trade for a rifle? I mean, because if that ute's got a rifle, there's some definite problems. You'd have to get one of those Harry Potter activists to read up on how you kill a Sun Devil, because there's a lot of outside stuff there. As far as a beast alone, a buffalo's going to be pretty hard to tangle with. I mean, a buffalo's utterly outstanding. Did I leave any of them out? The Coug will find a way. Clear-minded and crafty, a combination of stay out of harm's way and attack when you get your chances or your openings.
For the unfamiliar, that is Coach Mike Leach when he was at Washington State, being asked who would win if you took all of the Pac-12 mascots and put them in a little cage match to the
Yeah.
death. And just one of many, this was 6 years ago today, one of many excellent press conference moments from Coach Leach, who Matt, you know, I'm not often deeply affected long-term by any athlete or coaches passing, but I miss Mike Leach about once a week. About once a week, I wish we had a Leach bit to play here on this show or something to react to. I love that guy. And yeah, man, that's good stuff right there.
He will soon be in the college football Hall of Fame, and it was kind of weird. They had some rule that you had to have a certain winning percentage, and because of Mike had been at some places that he had to kind of help turn things around, and he certainly did. His Washington State being one, Mississippi State to a certain extent, Tech, when he had to go out to Tech, you know, they had kind of fallen on hard times a little bit, had to get them going. And he was one of the game's great characters. And I've often, you know, I said this recently, and Scotty, it may have been you and I having this conversation, but like I've kind of wondered who's the heir apparent to Mike Leach. And there's only one. There's nobody quite like that. Now we can talk about, you know, people that are from the air raid and the like Holgerson having been under him, and then Spavital having been under Holgerson, the Baylor offense coordinator. There are people that were probably around all that stuff so much that from a mind standpoint, they probably think in those terms, X's and O's, right? But in terms of just being funny and being that kind of a character, there are only a few. And you know, Dion, in a whole different sort of way, by the very nature of his personality and then his unbelievable career, he's one of the great personalities in I think the Big 12 is lucky to have him. Buffs are not doing that well right now. In a weird sort of way, if you ask me what sitting head coach is most like Mike Leach, it wouldn't take me too long to get down to Dave Aranda. And while they're different in a lot of ways, and I think Mike knew how to use the media and he enjoyed doing media and all that way more than Dave. From the way they think and present themselves standpoint, they're not that different. Now, one was an offensive guru and one's a defensive guru, but in their own weird sort of ways. When Dave goes floating out there into one of those stories, and one of them kind of got him in trouble recently when he started talking about a certain movie, but I think Scotty, there are some similarities between those two.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. I obviously find Coach Leach far more entertaining because of his actual posture and delivery than Coach Aranda. But certainly the Berenstain Bears thing, the Wolf of Wall Street thing just a month ago, there are certainly some parallels there to be had. Mosley, we were talking about this before the show. Heisman odds are fascinating to me at the moment. Just because even as I read through some of these favorites, I'm not sure who I'd bet on. Carson Beck, the favorite at plus 700, depending on which sport book you look at. But kind of an open question. Who else? You know, John Mateers here at plus 900. Dante Moore, the Oregon quarterback, plus 1,100. Gunnar Stockton, the Georgia quarterback. Garrett Nussmeier, the LSU quarterback. Marcel Reed, the A&M quarterback. It just kind of feels like Heisman odds at this point are who's the quarterback of the teams that are winning the most, which, to be fair, oftentimes that is the Heisman Trophy winner. But I'm not really like fascinated with any of these names in particular. In fact, I would say I'm more interested in like a Haynes King at Georgia Tech. Devin Dampier at Utah would be intriguing to me. Sawyer is kind of still a name that's undervalued, I think. Yeah.
I am fascinated to see how Mateer handles an incredibly tough, SEC gauntlet. He certainly has some things I wasn't aware of before he arrived on the scene. He carries himself, and he's different because nobody's Baker. Baker had this real, he's just always looking for a fight, and he had kind of an underdog spirit, chip on his shoulder kind of thing. But Mateer has almost like a California cool approach to him that I find very interesting. And I was watching one of his interviews yesterday. So I think Mateer is somebody to watch to see how he can perform in some of these big games. And then I think you got to look at that ACC schedule and go, where could Beck run into trouble? Because the truth is that schedule may not be that tough, and there are a lot of big days that he could have. This is a guy who was good at Georgia, had the weird ending there, ends up at Miami. I mean, he's not one of my favorites just because I don't know. The guy's, he's the glitz and glamour and a little bit of, I don't love the player. I don't love the guy, but I think he could end up putting up enormous numbers. But I'm with you. I want one of these other people to emerge. Now, the problem is that a guy like Nussmeier is going to get so many cracks at this thing. He's going to catch A&M at home. A&M could come in there riding high. And so while he did not perform well against Florida in a 20-10 win, he's only going to have 6 or 7 more great opportunities to have breakout.
Right.
So, and once you start winning Heisman's at your place, it's like OU. It's easier for Heisman voters to vote for a place where they've voted before, where they've produced one of them before. In Miami, just Purdue, they just had one, and they just had the number 1 overall pick, in Cam Ward. And so I think voters like familiarity. In those places we're mentioning, Oklahoma, Miami. Now, what I'd like to look like, Florida State's off to a pretty decent start, aren't they? Do they have a quarterback? I think they do. I'd kind of like to see what he's doing, that Thomas Castellanos.
Yeah, he's not on this article I pulled out from The Athletic with the current odds that were updated a few minutes ago, but he is high. Like, there's all these Twitter accounts that put out their own list. Robert Griffin puts out his own list. He is on several people's short list right now as a guy to watch in that conversation.
Okay. All right. We'll continue to monitor that.
And then let's see here. Where are my notes here? Oh, question for you. I didn't know this until I saw it just a few minutes ago. Matt, who do you think the leading passer in college football is today? Speaking of Heisman odds.
Is it Sawyer?
It is not. He is very high on the list. It is not Sawyer.
What conference is this person from?
ACC.
Well, you said you liked Haynes King, but I don't think he's putting up
that kind of number. He's running the ball like a madman. Yeah. Sawyer's number 2. I just confirmed that.
Back.
This person has 2 more yards than Sawyer Robertson through the air.
Oh my gosh. My gosh, I just can't think of any. We were just talking about the Florida State. Who is it?
Syracuse quarterback Steve. I don't know if you say Angeli or Angeli or Angeli. 1,072 passing yards for Fran Brown's Syracuse Orange. And part of why I mentioned this, Matt, now Syracuse, they did lose pretty badly to Tennessee in week 1, but they've got 2 victories against scrubs, including UConn since. But leading passer in college football, Fran Brown, now the second former Baylor assistant to serve as their head coach. Matt Mosley, Fran Brown has been mentioned a lot in some text messages I'm in this week as someone who I think people are starting to be very high on as potentially Baylor's next head coach. How does that make you feel?
Well, I just can't. I mean, I'm always in for a big discussion, but like, I'm so in on Dave and this team right now that like, I can't jump back into the mode of Baylor's next head coach. Like, I'm not saying that there couldn't be things happen that started that conversation, but I wouldn't. It's interesting you say that. He only was here 1 year and he left almost immediately. If Baylor were ever going to get into a search mode again, honestly, and this is a former Bear, a guy that played football at Baylor. I love that coach at Navy. I gotta tell you, those kind of guys that can win and win at a fairly big level at the academies sometimes grab my attention. Monken, certainly at Army right now, always has my attention. I used to love that Coach Calhoun, the longtime Air Force coach, but I can't think of the guy's name right now at Navy, but he's a former Baylor player. Fran Brown does not do much for me right now. I don't know why.
Huh.
Yeah, maybe it's because he's doing rule-like things and making his team run wind sprints after games.
Well, the coach you're talking about at Navy is Brian Newberry, and I
like
think
him.
that's a good pick, Matt. That's a good pick. And you are much more patient and prudent than a lot of Baylor fans, because I've been getting text. I'm in at least 3 text groups that have already started the conversation of, man, if Aranda can't get this thing done, let's go get Fran. Of course, a lot of people talking about Joey, a lot of people talking about GJ Kinney or Jeff Traylor. So a lot of names floating around in some text threads on part.
The only way you would ever get Joey is if he gets fired out there. I mean, I agree. I don't think he's leaving Tech for just about anything at this point. Yeah. I mean, you missed the boat on that deal. And it's not like you were going to hire. I mean, well, you had a chance, didn't you? I was going to say when he left for Tech, but he wanted to get hired instead of Aranda. Now that I'm thinking back on it. Yeah, that's interesting now that you think about it. I mean, I think that'll be a question that always comes. I mean, if Tech, last year, Baylor keeps going out to Lubbock and putting it on Tech and Joey. If Tech has some kind of unbelievable season this year, yes, and Baylor doesn't, then that conversation will come up again. You should have hired Joey. And then I'll say to that, was Joey going to have the enormous money he ended up with at Tech at Baylor? And the answer is no. I mean, Baylor's got great donors, don't get me wrong. I mean, Fudge and, my gosh, the Foster Pavilion. Baylor's got incredible donors. They've done a great job with their NIL, getting it up to where it needed to be. But, what Baylor did is brought in a coach who was not fit for the NIL era. He was not ready for the transfer portal. He admitted it. And this is a great experiment. They're trying to take a guy that was not fit for that or not prepared for that at all and get him going and get him on board. And I think he's done a pretty good job of that. Okay, we do have big time guests waiting in the wings. Scott,
the biggest guest, yeah.
Don't want to keep him waiting. And this is a great opportunity to have the star. Well, I guess you're the star of that show, but the namesake of the Pete Sousa show, Pete Sousa himself, joins the Mosley Show next.
Transform your workspace with Hanomi Ergonomics. From adjustable chairs to standing desks, we provide solutions for comfort and productivity, whether at home or in the office. Improve your posture, reduce strain, and work smarter. Visit us at hanomi.co today. That's HINOMI.co today. Unlock a world of convenience with Mully Box, your one-stop solution for personalized subscription boxes delivered right to your door. Each box is tailored to your taste. Experience the joy of surprises. Subscribe today at mullybox.com. That's MULLYBOX.com. Unlock your full potential with On It, your go-to for premium supplements, fitness gear, and wellness essentials. Whether you're training hard, recovering faster, or just looking to feel your best, On It has the tools you need to perform at your peak. Visit Onnit, that's ONNIT.com, and elevate your mind, body, and spirit today. At Rolls Rolla, we don't just sell wallpaper, we create cohesive, cozy spaces. Our deep understanding of design means every pattern, color, and texture is carefully chosen to complement your home. Plus, we use advanced technology and water-based inks for vibrant, eco-friendly prints, ensuring a healthier environment. Visit rollsrolla.com to transform your space today. That's ROLLSROLLA.com today.
Relax with Hemp Delicious. Organically grown hemp, massively blended with delicious organic herbs, responsibly sourced for their holistic benefits. Each sip offers calming, antioxidant-rich wellness. Brewed just for you. Sip the calm with Hemp Delicious. Find your blend at hempdelicious.com.
At Toussaint's, we understand that maintaining a healthy lifestyle can be challenging, especially in today's fast-paced world. That's why our mission is to make fitness accessible to everyone, anywhere. Committed to excellence, we adopt a user-centric approach guided by ergonomics and medical science. With a team of seasoned professionals in R&D, design, and manufacturing, we prioritize quality across our entire product line. Visit Toussaint's.com today and start your journey to better health. That's TOUSAINS.com.
Ready to bring your vision to life? At Small Rig, every idea, design, and product is inspired by you, the creator. With our industry-first under co-design mode and the Dream Rig free customization project, we unite with global creators to turn big dreams into reality. Whether it's a cage rig or mount, Small Rig's versatile gear is built to elevate your craft. Small Rig, where your creativity meets our innovation. Go to smallrig.com.
Calling all Marvel fans, get Marvel Unlimited and unlock over 30,000 comics featuring your favorite heroes and iconic stories, all available to read anytime, anywhere. Whether you're into classic tales or the latest adventures, there's something for everyone. Don't miss out. Head to marvel.com/unlimited today and start your Marvel journey now. At Angel Bliss, we believe every parent's journey is a beautiful adventure. Our mission is to make it joyful and stress-free with thoughtful, safe, and innovative products. Born from a love for family, we promise peace of mind for parents and comfort for babies. From playtime to bedtime, every Angel Bliss product is designed with care, reliability, and a style to nurture the special bond between parent and child. Angel Bliss, creating happy memories, one baby at a time. Visit us at angelbliss.us. Angel Bliss.
It is the Matt Mosley Show, Rogue Media Network, and it's a great pleasure of mine to bring on another member of the network. He helped recruit me to this fine place. Let's see what kind of warehouse he's in. Look at that. I love that. The ceiling's there. Man, it loves a good exposed ceiling. Pete Sousa joining the Mosley Show. Pete, I've missed talking to you. Used to be almost a weekly thing. You must have found another Cowboys guest and moved on there. But the Cowboys now sitting at 1-1. And how are you, man? Welcome back to the Mosley Show. As Scotty and I mean, you're 10 o'clock every morning. Scotty then has to shift to Mosley. Of course, then I'm bothering him during your show. I mean, you and I brought up the thought of like us just joining forces. People continuing to try to keep us apart. They do not want us banding together. But
they don't.
I just think it would be such an unstoppable force. But they've done everything in their power to keep us apart. But thanks for coming on today. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you look really nice. Yeah.
What do you mean by that? I mean,
you do. I mean, you look nice. You do.
I asked Scotty earlier today. I really did. I said, does Pete ever do shows with ball caps on? And he's like, well, in the early days he did a little bit, but I haven't seen him do that in a long time. And that may have inspired me running down before the show to put a little to get my wife, by the way, hates the wet look. Like I'll sometimes go on with Cowherd and I haven't given it enough time
Yeah,
to
yeah.
dry.
Slick look when you mean business, you go Gordon Gekko. I love it.
The wet look is very bothersome to her, but occasionally I'll have to do it real quick, and even the towel dry doesn't quite get it done. But Pete, are you going? Is it true that you may make an appearance out at the Baylor game on Saturday? You're always getting called into things, and you never know where ESPN will have you week to week.
I do not have a game this weekend, so I will be there for the pregame show whenever I'm needed. I will be there.
Okay. Yeah, it's like I'm very happy about that, but I'm also like it's kind of weird because ESPN. Well, no, I'm just saying like I was even hearing you do some of those calls on that. Like Rice did some kind of your end around, and I loved some of your calls, and so it blows me away for you not to be on a game. But we'll take you. We love having you, and that'll be exciting to be out there. And I think you'll love the setup because I think we're going straight YouTube this week. And so there's going to be a looseness to it. You know, Pete, with me, I'm always pretty loose. I think Scotty would prefer I stop being quite so loose.
Me too. Me too.
With you TV guys, there's like, you got to hit this, you got to do this, you got to do this. And of course I am so not that guy, but Pete, I get the feeling that this Baylor Arizona State game, and I know there's some other really good games this week, but I think Arizona State just did not put its best foot forward. They ran into a tough situation in Starkville to open the season. Like there's nothing keeping Arizona State from being like a really, really good team at the end of the year. And so to me, this is an enormous opportunity for both of these teams coming up at McLean Stadium Saturday night.
Well, I think it's a gut check for both of these teams. Scotty and I talked about it on my show. There's a couple really big games this week that'll be a litmus test. I think for Texas Tech and Utah, that is a huge appointment in Salt Lake City, right? You got big noon kickoff. You have two teams that are undefeated who we're still not sure who they are. And I think with Baylor and Arizona State, you have the same thing. We're still trying to figure out, at least I am, how good Sam Levitt is, how good the offense is without Cam Scatteraboo when you get into like a bare knuckle brawl in conference play. And then with Baylor, the defense has been so disappointing to me. And you and I haven't spoken yet. I compared it to when I first moved to Waco in 2017. First game I ever saw was Liberty. First, Baylor game I went to was Liberty and Baylor.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, me too. And I think Phil Snow had just been appointed defensive coordinator, and there was a lot going on in the defensive scheme where guys were just they didn't know if they were on foot or horseback. There was so much going on up here, and I'm seeing that a little bit this year with Baylor. And I thought you would see a little more fast and free play on Saturday against Samford, and you still didn't. So I don't know if they don't have the guys or if they're bogged down with like the Dave Aranda schematic stuff. I got to give him more credit than that. Like he knows better. He knows how to let guys run around and make plays. But it's almost like he's got too much time now. Is he doing too much and putting too much on these guys?
Yeah, that's interesting that you go back. That's a good frame of reference to go back to some of those early days. And I was in that game, that Liberty game, I happened to be in one of those loge boxes. I was not covering the team really at that point, and I went as a fan. And I will say, not that I would ever admit or even try to do anything, drink in public or drink period, really, for that matter. Pete, there were some fridges in those loge boxes, and I've never seen more Baylor fans reaching into those fridges faster than that Liberty game. It was such a bad look from the Bears. And
I was actually spotting that game for Eric Collins was calling the game. Danny Cannell and AJ Hawk were the analysts. And I love Eric Collins, but if you're spotting for him, after every play, he'd look over at me. I was as a spotter, he'd go, I'll be like, he'd shrug his shoulders. I know it's not good for audio, but he would shrug his shoulders like, "Hey, who made the tackle?" And look at me. I'd be like, "I don't know. Didn't you prepare at all?" Yeah. No, I love that was his shtick, like the first possession. But honestly, that game, you're probably right down the hallway, and I remember to the naked eye being like, these guys don't know what they're doing on defense. They're so hesitant to make plays, and I've seen that this year with some of the Baylor defensive guys. But I think when you look at their offense, and are we just going to be that team, or is Baylor just going to be that team? I'm showing my affiliation here and how I lean towards them. But are they going to just be a fireworks display all year long and not play any defense? I don't know. It's way better than it was a couple years ago when they had the 6 home games and it was like watching paint dry every afternoon. So
yeah, they certainly have the makings of an excellent offense. Scotty's getting mad at me because and again, they thinks it's because my daughter goes there now. This A&M receiving core is scary. Like I think Baylor's is good, but Casey Concepcion and that Mario Craver right now, and you throw Bussy in there with them, that's the scariest group in the country. But Baylor's got a great bunch. I'm with. I mean, but if they don't shore up, I'm totally with you on a couple things. One is, if they didn't learn what Jackson Arnold did to them, which was embarrassing, from a quarterback run standpoint, just running, it was like he was just like sitting back there, and they're like, well, we didn't know he'd run on that down or something. It's like, who cares? Like, at some point you got to assign somebody to him. Like sometimes Dave's explanations do not pass muster with me. I'm like, okay, I get that you're the smartest man in America, and I like you. I like you. But some of this stuff doesn't hold water. If you let Sam Levitt get outside and you break contain, he's scarier than Jackson Arnold.
Yeah.
Like you've seen all these guys. Like he is so fast, and so I'll be interested to see.
So I got rebuttal on that. And it doesn't come from me. This morning, we spoke to Danny White on the Pete Sousa show. And he said he's dialed into Arizona State football. He meets with Kenny Dillingham every Sunday, right? And Dillingham, I think, just understands the tradition of Arizona State football because he's from Tempe. And he leans on Danny White, because, again, it's probably a tip of the cap to the old guard, but he understands Danny White has a wealth of knowledge. And so Danny White was telling us this morning about those meetings. But, dude, you know what he said? And I'm just like you. I'm like, well, you got to keep Sam Levitt in the pocket. Danny White was like, he's running with the ball way too much. He's lost his presence kind of in the pocket, and he's too quick to run this year. Now, he runs well, right? But I don't know if that takes the air out of some of their offense if he is running more. Like, is that something Baylor would like to see?
No.
No. And you're saying, and you probably make a better point than Danny White does, to be honest. You're saying because of Baylor's deficiencies on defense that a guy like Sam Levitt could absolutely carve him up with his feet, which makes sense.
Unless they get it under control. And I mean, how could you not approach this game and have somebody like Carl Williams or I don't know who their best, Keaton, whoever you decide from a linebacker or safety. I mean, if you're not spying this guy, what are you doing? What are you even doing? Because you can't expect let's think about how much we love Jalen Petrie, the Baylor people. I mean, he was unbelievable. Think about last night in that game, how many times he came in there. He is one of the greatest players in Baylor history. And that dude could not get his hands on freaking Baker Mayfield. He couldn't, Baker kept slipping out of there. And Jalen, who is incredible at that, either was taking the wrong angle, couldn't bring him down in open space. And again, he's an awesome player, Jalen is. But, and Levitt is so much faster. Now, again, Baker has he's an NFL guy. He's a pro. He knows how to do all that. But I was just thinking about that. Like, it's going to take a lot, and it'll take a team effort. But where I was going with that, Pete, is like, if you think about who Baylor has, Marshall has not been himself yet because of the injury, right? Lands, Tazzino, like, I just haven't seen anybody up front right now that you would go, well, he could chase down Levitt, or he could give Levitt some problems. So
yeah,
to me, man, they're going to have to contain him. For that, and you're going to have to say, okay, beat us with your arm. That's scary too, because I think you guy can throw, and they got an incredible receiver. Yeah.
And that's going to be fun to see Jordan Tyson too, because you mentioned the Baylor wide receivers and comparing them with A&M. It could be. I mean, I know Baylor fans will be sitting on their hands maybe because it could be such a tightly contested contest, but it could be a lot of fun to watch. Like Tim Brando will be up there calling that game on Saturday. You know, he'll be. What do you say? He'll be empty in the chamber for sure, right?
How do you do?
A dipsy do, Dunkaroo over the goalpost for you and me too.
I tell you what, when you and I are that age, I think he's about 70.
Yeah.
I hope we're still rolling, doing some good things, and I hope we can find whatever he puts in his hair. I hope we get some good formula.
He's awesome. He really is still really good. The way he introduced Sawyer Robertson last year when Baylor was struggling at Iowa State. And he just does such a good job, Brando does, of building up the game. He was like 6'4", 230, 4-star quarterback from Lubbock, Texas. They just make him different out there. Let's keep our Sawyer. I was like, let's go. He knows how to build the drama. He is the master.
Oh, I just hate that they broke him up with Spencer
I know.
Tillman. I mean, that was his guy, and I'm sure whoever that he's with is fine, but I thought he and Spencer, I think they just had to break them up. They're like, you guys are, you can't put these two old dudes together or something. I don't know.
I don't know. That was a big mystery to me too. And we talked about it this morning. Listening to your buddy Troy and Joe Buck last night, I hadn't listened to him. I hadn't watched Monday Night Football yet this season. And man, what a blast. I mean, they really are so good because they're such good buddies. And it's like, it is a lot of fun to watch a game that those two are calling. And they do a great job. They keep it very football-y early on. Yeah. But then, like, it'll open up, right? It's pretty cool.
I bet you were like me, though, last night. I want to make sure I look at the time so we can get you out on time. You and I have both been in situations where you got to do a show. You got to go on TV. The show must go on. And there's really no solution where you go, well, I'll bring in the backup host today or something. Like, we generally have to find a way to use whatever voice we have. And I've at times had to go run, get a steroid shot, chase it with a Z-Pack. Like, I'm doing everything I can to get the voice back, right? And poor Chris Fowler reported for duty late in the late game last night, and he just didn't have his voice, to the point where, Pete, he was doing his intro, and I didn't know who it was. I was like, wait, who's doing this game? He didn't sound like himself.
No, I heard a highlight, and I was like, wait, who is that? I was like, oh, yeah, it's Chris Fowler. It's totally in sync with you there, yeah.
Had a bad cold.
Dude, he's called, dude, from the U.S. Open to college football to now an NFL game to, oh, by the way, Wimbledon over the summer, which, you're kind of being quiet. But then he also does that EA Sports where they lock him in a room for like a week and a half, and he's just yelling touchdown for every school in the country, interception. Give the guy a break. It makes sense.
Well, I mean, like, okay, if you're like, you have to use. They have a whole stable of people, obviously, Pete. You're in the stable of all the ESPN's announcers, but like McDonough is incredible. And I know he used to be Monday Night Football, and maybe he didn't want to, his time ended pretty quickly there. But like, you've got people you could have called on. But again, who knows? Maybe it came on him pretty quickly. I think it was already hitting him when he was doing his Saturday game, perhaps.
He's it all like me or you, maybe. You don't say anything because you don't want to ever you want to be there. You don't want any. We all, and I think Chris Fowler maybe aside from this, or maybe this may not apply to him, but like I know everybody's worried about getting Wally pipped in this business. So you want to show up and you want to do it because you don't want Kessler to come over and all of a sudden now he hits a home run and he's calling games. So with Kirk Herbstreit, you never know.
Yeah, I guess I should have thought about that, but I would like if they would have given me a month off, like in ESPN Dallas, I'd have been like, yeah, just put whoever in. I'd love a month off. But it is Pete Sousa on the Matt Mosley Show, Rogue Media Network, and Pete, I wanted to get you as a lifelong Eagles fan, and this tush push is back in the news. I thought that was funny. I don't know if you saw it just within the past few minutes. The Eagles, or the past hour, I guess the Eagles, they were talking to, I don't know, who is the guy? I don't know if it's offensive line coach or the offensive coordinator for Sirianni.
His name's is the new guy, Kevin
Patula or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. So he had an interesting point because, again, this is all coming up again because it looked like the tush push, it looks like there was false starts and they were moving early. And of course the Chiefs are mad and all this kind of stuff. I mean, like, because the Chiefs have never gotten any help from the officials, by the way. Mahomes has never gotten the benefit of the doubt, right? But Patula said, he had an interesting comment. He said, every time they do the tush push, the defense is lining up off sides, which is probably true. Like, if you actually look down the line, and they're putting their entire team up on the line, I'm sure they're lining up off sides to try to stop this. Are you, even some of the Eagles offensive linemen this year were saying they were tired of it. They hated the name of it, calling it the tush push. I'm sure you got to see some of that game. To me, it was like I was finishing up all my Cowboys duties, so I wasn't really locked in as you would have been on it. Is what they were doing looked illegal? Do the Chiefs, do they have a beef here, or is this?
My thought is, as long as it's legal. I mean, over the summer, whatever happened, right at the league meetings, and it was not banned. And at that point, it's up to the rest of the league to stop it. The Eagles are people are giving them grief because they're saying those guards are getting off the ball too quick. That's any good team in the red zone, especially around the goal line. You're going to have like a little pre-snap, right? And then again, it's up to the officials to call it. I think it's boring, and as a fan, I don't like it. I think it kind of stinks, but it works, and it's just kind of something you live with if you're an Eagles fan. I don't enjoy it. I'm not like, the brotherly shove, or like, I don't hang my hat on it. I think it's kind of a goofy play. And it was, I can't believe the NFL didn't stop it, especially after that embarrassment in the NFC Championship, where play kept getting stopped. I forget who it was, Latu or somebody was jumping over every time for the Commanders, and it just was silly.
Yeah.
It's something.
That was embarrassing for the league. I guess we have to admit that the greatest podcaster of all time and his brother, speaking of, Jason and Travis Kelce, the impassioned Kelce showing up at the competition committee at the NFL meetings, like that kind of changed everything. Wasn't that unbelievable that he could go in there and like defend it with all his heart? And that really seemed to make an impact on all those teams.
When you're hot, dude. You just got to ride it out. I mean, the Kelce boys are red hot right now, and they certainly were over the summertime. And yeah, I think that's kind of ridiculous. Give the guy some props. I mean, he's charismatic, and I don't know what the heck he said in there, but I don't think much longer will we be seeing it. And I'll tell you what else I saw last night, which I thought was crazy. Not crazy, but the Tom Brady, the revelation of him actually there at the game for the Raiders in a capacity of part owner, and is he now part of the football ops? Pete Carroll says he talks to Chip Kelly 3 times a week. And there's very much a conflict of interest. And I think I believe, Matt, it's like one of those things. It's the same thing as like Steve Ballmer and like the Kawhi Leonard thing. Like, okay, let's put some money over here, and that's how, we'll pay him so he'll stay with the Clippers. And nobody wants to look over there. It's like and look, where I'm from, and I know there's a ton of money in the Dallas area. Like, I've been seeing wealthy people, just kind of get their own set of rules forever. And it just kind of is how it is. And the Tom Brady thing, to me, falls into that category. It's like, look, for Fox, he provides revenue. For the NFL, he provides revenue. The owners voted on him to be able to be that, part owner of the Raiders. And it's another thing that's just kind of like, really? Like, it is a total conflict of interest. And if the Raiders start to play well, at some point they probably will. It's just like a numbers game. Like, this is going to be a pretty big deal. And I'm surprised that is happening before our eyes.
Yeah. I mean, that's what we're kind of talking with Scotty. Why doesn't Jerry offer Romo a minority interest right now, and then get him involved? And Scotty, of course, is the most over-the-top Romo lover ever, and so that really got him going. But
it was like Roger Starbuck or Tony Romo. Who do you got, Pete? I was like, okay, Scotty, that's the next topic.
Some of the Eagles, Carson Wentz, your old quarterback there in Philly land, is going to get a start because who just got hurt?
J.J. McCarthy, right? Is that it?
J.J. McCarthy's hurt. Wentz is going to start for him. And it did bring back memories of going on with Gargano and others in Philly and like literally having a legit argument between who is better between Dak and Wentz. And there was a time you could make an argument for Wentz, and it was brief, but it is unbelievable how
right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. That guy who everybody told us, including your friend Sal, pal, and Howard Eskin, who I love, who's kind of gone the way of, I don't know. But everybody was saying, everybody who knew what was going on was reporting that like that locker room is not behind Carson Wentz. They are not behind Carson Wentz. They are not behind Carson Wentz. And everybody wanted to be like, no. And then eventually we saw it. I mean, we saw it when he came back healthy, and they weren't very good after winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah. And it is amazing that he had everything behind him like that. And it's the most amazing thing is Howie Roseman is headed toward the Hall of Fame, a guy who was riding high, then was put in a cubicle basically when Chip Kelly was there, and then came back and has turned it into a juggernaut. And congrats, the Phillies win the NL East. They clinched the NL East. So it's like, I don't think Philly, usually they kind of enjoy being miserable. So I don't know what people in Philly are doing with all this winning. But
talk about Joel Embiid and complain about it.
Yeah, you'll find something. The Flyers or somebody will do something you don't like. There's always the Sixers to complain about. Yeah. Hey, thank you, Pete. Appreciate it. Love the Pete Sousa show. Love everything you're doing. The 12, obviously, the Inside the 12, all the things that you're doing. Appreciate you doing this, man.
Those are the best, dude. I'll see you Saturday, bro.
Okay, I'm looking forward to it. Pete Sousa will be making his way out to the McLean Stadium as we get ready to do our green and gold game day live. That'll be fun, man. That's going to be awesome. Scotty will be, we'll just get that thing running. Scotty's going to be running hard on that thing starting at 3:30. Going to take you right up into kickoff. I was talking to Faith today. Faith's all pumped up. We got so much planned for you. Incredible story on JJ Joe that we're going to be sharing with you, and it's pretty awesome. We're very excited about it to have that presentation. And I'll tell you what we're going to do. We got a lot of stuff planned for tomorrow, and we're going to save some of this because I got a lot to talk about with the Rangers. I've got some things going on with Sawyer Robertson that I need to talk about, and then we got a ton on our plate we're going to get you ready for. And so we will be back with you tomorrow at 1 o'clock live. It'll be the Matt Mosley Show with Scotty Swingler right here on the Rogue Media Network. Thank you to the Brazos Landing. I talked to Becky Lindsay today. Becky's been fighting some things health-wise, but man, she is so tough and so wonderful. And she and Claude doing their thing. It is the Landing. It is the Bang Bang Shrimp. I believe the Thursday leading up to the K-State game. K-State game's on October 4th. So this will be, I think, October 2nd. We'll be doing a live show from right out there at the Brazos Landing, right next to the water. We love it. It's always so fun. We'll be videoing some things out there. It's a great restaurant. It's a great place to go. Thank you, Central National Bank. Thank you to our lawyers. Thank you, Cherry, Johnson, Sigmund, and James. That is the great Scott James, my longtime buddy. And then Ascension Providence doing an incredible job out there. But especially that Brazos Landing. Man, it's fun. Their seafood's great. Their steaks are unbelievable. And then those appetizers, good as it gets. Really good as it gets. And then I can't wait to get out there, that tailgate show on Saturday, because we may have some more hush puppies. And I think you'll even have a chance to buy some of these from the great Blake Blackmore as he presents some of his incredible cuisine out there at Camp Fimfo. All right, for Scotty Swingler, I am Matt Mosley. You've been watching the Matt Mosley Show on the Rogue Media Network.